Okay, this is lesson 24, solving inequality equations. So we talked about solving equations using SADMAP. We talked about, like a couple weeks ago, we talked about how we could, in math, we could, when we multiply things, we're going forwards. But let's say we had to look back and rewind the story, like a YouTube video, you press rewind on the video, and you have like people doing things backwards, right? So in the same way, we work backwards in math using SADMAP, okay? And we're combining it with this idea. Yesterday we talked about logic. Remember logic yesterday where we said, oh, everyone in this class is less than 32 years old. Okay? And then you're thinking, if I asked a question, is it logical to believe that someone could be 31 in here? Is it logical based upon my last statement? Yeah, it's logical. Could it be someone that's 29? Yeah. Is it logical that someone is 40 years old in here? No, it's not logical because we said that everyone has to be younger than 32. Is it logical that someone is 32 in here then? No, because I said younger than 32, not equal to that. Okay, so we're talking about logic, okay? And we're going to combine that together with that whole idea of thinking backwards. So we're going to think about logic while we're also thinking backwards, find the answer, and it's actually pretty easy. So these are the steps. If you're on the video, you should pause the video. Otherwise, here we go. Numbers 1 and 2. Watch carefully. Numbers 1 and 2. So, number 1, negative 27 is greater than or equal to negative 17 plus x. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite this underneath it because it's kind of hard to. Hard to see there. So, I'm going to use SADMAP. Okay, so I can write it down, but at this point I know what the order is. So, I'm looking for my variable, and I'm going to draw my fence just like before, just so I know where everything is. But instead of the fence being an equal sign, it's just going to be this greater than or equal to sign. So my variable here is x, right? And I'm asking myself, are there any subtraction signs by the x? So there is a subtraction sign. There is the negative 17. Opposite of negative 17 is plus 17, so I'm going to add 17 to both sides. Okay, on the left-hand side now, negative 27 plus 17 is negative 10. And these two cancel out, leaving just x on this side. And we have a greater than or equal to sign in the middle. X is by itself. Now watch carefully. I want to put x on the opposite side and the negative 10 on the other side. Because I like writing my letter first. When I do that, I have to flip the inequality sign. Because I want to make sure that the inequality is true. We're saying negative 10 is greater than or equal to x. But also x is less than or equal to negative 10. Okay. Did you see how I flipped that last sign? Did y'all see that? Because I flipped sides. Because we want the letter to be first. Do we always flip the sign? No, only when we need to flip the sides. Okay. Now that we have that, we just think about yesterday. Remember how I taught you how to graph? We go back to our graph. Go to negative 10. Draw a circle. And we know that it's less than negative 10. So we're going to point it to the left. And it's equal to. So I want to fill in my circle. And we're all done. Okay. That's number 1. Again, how did I do this? One more time. First thing I did is I rewrote my problem underneath to get some space. Using SADMAP, are there any subtraction signs? Yeah. Negative 17, opposite of negative 17 is plus 17. Simplified, we got negative 10. Is greater than or equal to x. Then I have to flip sides with x and negative 10. So x is less than or equal to negative 10. Then I went up to my answer, plotted my point like yesterday. Pretty easy, right? You think you can do this? Yeah. Let's try another one. Number 2. Number 2. Okay. I don't have space up there, so I'm going to rewrite this underneath. 5 plus 6r is less than 83. So this one's a little harder, but we could still do it, right? We know SADMAP. So we're saying solve. The question says solve, so I know I use SADMAP. Okay. So 5 plus 6r is less than or equal to 83. Are there any subtraction signs by the r? No. Any addition signs? Yeah, there's a plus 5 really here. This is a plus 5. So the opposite of plus 5 is minus 5. So I'm going to subtract 5 on both sides. When I do that, these two 5s cancel out, leaving just 6r, or positive 6r, which is less than or equal to, we got 83 minus 5 is 78. Okay. I'm going to divide both sides by 6. Leaving r is less than or equal to, well, 78 divided by 6 is what, 13? Is that right? Yeah, that's right. So then there's something else I could do. So I'm going to box my answer. This time I didn't flip the sign because the R was already first, so I didn't have to switch sides. Last time I did because I wanted the R first. But this is okay. Now I go to 13, and I draw my circle there. We're saying R is less than 13, so it's going to be pointing to the left again, and we're going to fill it in. And that's it. Okay? Yep. That's it. Any questions? Yeah.
Will the answer be different if you subtract 6 from the R, or do you have to divide?
I had to divide because this is like saying 6 times R.
Like a compound, if you subtract 6 from R.
Was I supposed to subtract 6 someplace?
No, like instead of the 5, and you did.
Oh, this is a positive 6 and it's being multiplied with R. We always ask ourselves what's being added, subtracted, multiplied, or divided by R. Do you get it? So this is 6, positive 6 is being multiplied with R. Good question, right? So it says positive 6, but that's not add 6. It's actually positive 6 is being multiplied with R. So you got to be careful with that. All right, what I'd like you to do now is 2 cell 1's about number 1, 1 cell 2 is about number 2. Ready, set. Okay, number 3, n plus 11 is less than 3. Oh, look at that. It looks like a heart.
Oh, how cute.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's not what it means. Okay, this is not a heart, okay? This up here is not a heart. Does it look like a heart? It's not a heart. It's less than 3, okay? All right, anyways. So, let's rewrite this or write this down. N plus 11 is less than 3. Okay, looking at the equation here, inequality actually, are there any, or what's the letter we're looking at? N. Are there any subtraction signs by the N? No. Are there any addition signs by the N? Good. So we're going to look at what's being added. It's positive 11. What's the opposite of positive 11? What's the opposite of positive 11? Good, minus 11. So we got n is less than, what's 3 minus 11? What? Negative 8. Okay. Is n by itself already? Yeah. So we're done with this one. Now we, and the other thing is n first in this inequality. Is n written first?
Yes.
Yeah, so do we have to flip the sides or anything?
No.
No, we're good. Okay. Now we just graph it like yesterday. Show me your graphs. Ready, go. Okay, so we go to negative 8. You're supposed to draw in a circle, negative 8. And it's less than, so it's pointing to the left. Do we fill in the circle? No. Okay, number 4 now. Sorry if I said number 4 last time. This time I mean number 4. Okay, go. Number 4, good. Looks like we're getting on this one. On this one, all we have to do, let me rewrite it here underneath it. So we got 20 is greater than or equal to n divided by 15. So to multiply both sides by 15. When we get that, we get 300 is greater than or equal to n. And then we have to flip sides, right? So n is supposed to be less than or equal to 300. We're flipping that middle sign. So, of course, you got 300. Draw in our circle. It's less than, and it's filled in. Okay, good. Continuing. So those are one step. Let's see if we can add another step. So this one's going to be 2 steps. Number 5. Number 5. Let me start this one up for you. Okay. Number 5. Write this down. We got negative 54 is less than negative 3p plus 6. Okay. Are there any subtraction signs by the p? No. Good. What about that negative 3? What's happening with that negative 3? But what's it doing to p? Being multiplied, right? So it's not subtraction. Good. Are there any addition signs by the p? Yeah. What's being added?
6.
Good. So we're going to subtract 6 first. So the left side becomes negative 60 is less than negative 3p. Okay, can you guys go to your steps really quick? Read your steps on step 2. Can you read step 2 for me? What What does step 2 say? Okay, good. Look up. Okay, so what am I doing next? Okay, good. I'm dividing by a negative number. What am I supposed to do with it? What does step 2 say? I'm dividing by a negative. Therefore, what? Flip the what? Inequality sign. So it says, look up here, everyone. Look what I'm doing. This is step 2. This is an example of step 2. So instead of less than, we're going to flip it, and it's going to be greater than. Whenever we multiply or divide by negative, we need to do this. So 20 is going to be now greater than P. Is P first? No, we have to flip the sides now and the sign. So we got P is going to be less than 20. Okay, graph it. Let me see your answers. Go. So P is less than 20, so we're going to 20, drawing a circle to the left, and it's not filled in, okay? So before we move on to the next one, number 5, it's good to think about what we did on each step. So looking back here, this is called justifying your steps. I know we did it on the last chapter or the last test, but what did we do here? What was the first step we just did here? What was that step? What property did we use? What property did we use here? What? Nope. Not SADMAP. Good. We use the subtraction property. So you would write subtraction property of equality. Okay, this is something that you need to start practicing too. This is called justifying your answers. You're saying, why did I do this? I use the subtraction property. What did we do here? What was this step called then? Good, division property. Is it a secret what property it is? No, you just write what you did. I use the division property. So this is what I expect from a test. I know we just took a test and I'm looking through this and grading it and having some issues here. Okay? There's one more property we use when we flip things. When I flip things right here, this is called the symmetric property. Okay? Of inequalities, but we'll just put symmetric property, okay? So make sure that you write these down in your notes. Can you write these down in your notes, please? Write this example with the justification. Just for a moment before we do the last one. Ready? Go. Okay, last one, number 6. I'm going to make a little space here. Okay, number 6. Okay, number 6, look at this numerator. We got 4 plus b. Remember what I said, the whole numerator has what around it? And the whole denominator has what around it? What's around them? Parentheses, yeah. When you don't see them, you need to assume that they're there, okay? Okay, so are there any subtraction signs by the variable p? No, what about any addition signs by the variable p? Are there? Yeah, but what's wrong with that plus 4? It's in parentheses. When do parentheses come in SADMAP? At the end, right? Okay, so we have to skip over that. We'll have to come back to it. Okay, are there any division signs by the p? Yes. What's p being divided by? Good. What's the opposite of divide by 5? Multiply by 5. Okay, I'm going to move this down here really quickly. Okay, so we're going to multiply by 5, both the left and the right hand side. When we do that, we got 4 plus p. 4 plus p is greater than, what's negative 2 times 5? Negative 10, okay. Good. Okay, now the parentheses go away because the 5's got canceled out. Now, we can start, once we start over and we get to the parentheses, we start over. So, subtraction signs again. Are there subtraction signs? Yes or no? Any addition signs? Yeah, what's being added to 4? Or p? 4, right? So we can subtract 4 on both sides. So we got p is greater than negative 14. Okay, show me your graphs, please. Answer's up in 15 seconds. Like we got it, we're going to negative 14, drawing a circle, and it's pointing to the right. We don't fill it in, of course, right? That's it. All right, so this concludes our lesson.